Hello, this is Eric Parmenter. I'm your host for the podcast Stop, 21 Stops to Reduce Stress and Enhance Joy. And I'm the author of the book of the same name, which was published in 2016. I was pretty stressed out as an executive. I've been in the healthcare business for over 30 years as a consultant to large employers and major hospital systems. And I was looking for a way to have more joy and to live more on purpose. And so I started to write down a stop doing list. And this is what I came up with, is a list of 21 different things to stop doing to allow me to focus on my high priorities. And so I share this with you now in 21 different episodes of this podcast. It's broken into 3 broad categories. The first 7 episodes are about what to stop doing to improve your health. And not as an expert in diet and nutrition, it's more about habits and life hacks, things that you can stop doing to improve your health. The second 7 episodes are about what to stop doing to enhance your work and to make it more productive. And that's true whether your work is in a career or as a parent raising children, or as a student. And then third, what to stop doing to enhance your life, to live a life on purpose, to have more focus on your top priorities. So I hope you will sit back and enjoy these episodes. Each one is somewhere between 15 to 30 minutes long. You know, it's not about doing more, it's about doing less. It's about focusing on priorities. It's about removing things from your calendar and from your life that are frankly adding clutter and getting in the way. So enjoy this podcast, Stop, 21 Stops to Reduce Stress and Enhance Joy.
Beginning the journey. This book is not about all the wonderful things you could do in your life. I suspect that you already know your passions and your talents. You may even have a bucket list. If not, the principles in this narrative could help you free up some time for more self-discovery. This book is about what not to do with your time, energy, thoughts, and resources. Fundamentally, this book is about human behavior in the inverse. It is about stopping behaviors that diminish your well-being, rob your joy, and hinder your personal performance. Stop is not directly about the achievement of any of the following: health, wealth, greater results, living up to your potential, living your passion, self-actualization. My goal is to help you experience greater joy and less stress on your journey. Are you ready to add more joy and take away stress? Stress reduction and joy enhancement boost well-being and increase personal performance. Both improvements could naturally lead you to the achievements most self-help books concentrate on, but my intent is centered on helping you enjoy the journey instead of being so focused on your destination that you miss the special moments along the way. Stop is not a how-to book. While I do provide tips that I hope will help you take steps to stop unhealthy behavior, my goal is to shine the light on behaviors that might have a bigger impact on your life than you previously thought, and to motivate you to take the next step to doing a behavior tune-up. I will talk about several great books at the end in the resources section that provide much more research, depth, and methodology on many of the topics covered in Stop, as well as some of my favorite books on other topics. In my 30-plus years of working as a consultant and advisor to employers on health benefits and wellness programs, primarily with large hospitals and health systems, I've noticed that most of the people I encounter have stress levels that are off the charts, particularly in the wake of U.S. healthcare reform. Many healthcare workers, such as doctors and nurses, are so busy taking care of patients and trying to keep up with technology and the heavy administrative burden of medicine that they do not take care of themselves. Far too many people run from meeting to meeting, multitasking and dealing with distractions all day long. They wind up settling into existing. They are on autopilot, locked into habits that keep them from making changes that would bring them more of what they say they want out of life. Even worse, many healthcare workers are downright burnt out, boiling with frustration and suffering deep dissatisfaction with their careers. In fact, more than 1 million patients lose their medical doctors to suicide in this country, along with a shocking number of medical students. A deeply disturbing fact that Pamela Wible, MD, tackled in her TED-Med talk, in which she addressed the high pressure, high stress, and sometimes abusive culture and sleep deprivation prevalent throughout the healthcare industry. By nature, I'm a pretty happy guy, but the frenetic activity I'm surrounded with in the healthcare industry started to wear me down too. And it got me thinking, where had I allowed myself to slip into bad habits that are counterproductive to what I say I want in my life? Like the healthcare workers I serve, my own health scare with high cholesterol, weight gain, and stress made me realize that I needed to stop and take a hard look at myself. I was traveling 3 to 4 days a week, and my calendar was a disaster, with back-to-back meetings and conference calls, even as I trudged through an airport or flopped into the back seat of a taxi cab. I joined Evolent Health as employee number 9 in 2011. Working for a startup venture is exhilarating and stressful. Our growth has been amazing, and now we employ more than 2,000 Evolunteers, as we call ourselves, and are traded on the New York Stock Exchange. In addition to stress at work, my wife Sherry and I got married the same year, 2011, that I joined Evolent Health, and we now have a blended family of 7 children, 5 grandsons, and 2 more grandchildren on the way as of this recording. Figuring out our new family dynamic has been great, but also presents challenges at times. You get the picture. I needed to change myself. There is no shortage of things on our to-do list. The question we should be asking ourselves is not what to do, but what to stop doing. If we stop and ask the right questions, we can enjoy healthier lives, be more focused and productive in our work, express our talents, do the things we enjoy, experience greater peace and richer relationships, and help others. So perhaps you are ready to create a stop doing list. Here are 3 categories of behaviors to stop immediately. 1, stop ignoring your health. 2, stop hindering your work. 3, stop holding back your life. If you think willpower is all it takes to stop any behavior, you are dead wrong. Learning to stop behavior requires you to develop new methods for making conscious, deliberate, and disciplined decisions. We make thousands of decisions every day. The decisions vary from the mundane to the complex, such as, what do I want to wear today given my schedule? Should I have a fruit shake for breakfast, a bowl of cereal, or just skip it because I'm running late? Which route should I take to work based on this traffic jam? While playing chess with my son, what move should I make next as I predict his next set of moves? According to Daniel Kahneman in Thinking Fast and Slow, the renowned psychologist and winner of the Nobel Prize in Economics teaches us that we make decisions by deploying 2 systems, thinking fast and thinking slow. System 1 is thinking fast, and it's automatic, based on patterns that have developed in our brain from the past experience and memory. In fast thinking, we rely on rules of thumb and preconceived notions. System 1 engages first, quickly, and every time. This type of thinking comes easily because it is often unconscious. Examples of fast thinking include driving a car on an empty road. For example, have you ever arrived at your destination with no memory of the trip? System 2 is thinking slow. It's conscious, it's deliberate, and it requires concentration like chess moves. It is difficult, it engages last, and it takes more energy. Examples of slow thinking are completing a tax return, or a less taxing example, no pun intended, reading a menu at a restaurant and deciding what to order. If all of our decisions required slow thinking, we would drain our energy and accomplish very little each day. These two systems are designed to work together to conserve energy and for survival. I like to think of the two systems as two types of roads: the fast lane without stop signs and the local lanes through the town with many stops and entrances to businesses and homes, as illustrated in the book. Researchers at MIT attached brain scanners to rats and placed them in mazes for the rats to find the exit. They learned that a great deal of activity took place in their cerebral cortex while learning the maze. However, after numerous attempts, the rats learned the route, and the cortex registered less activity. The brain converts the sequence of actions into chunks or bundles and transfers those bundles down to the primary part of the brain, the basal ganglia. This transfer frees up the cerebral cortex, or the front of the brain, for good, slow thinking. In this regard, we are like rats. One way in which we think fast is to form habits. According to Charles Duhigg, in The Power of Habit, we respond to cues, such as the time of day, location, or our emotional state, with routines that deliver a reward. Cue, routine, and reward form the habit loop. Rewards are pleasurable by definition, but habits can be good or bad. For instance, forming the routine of taking the stairs rather than the elevator not only delivers immediate pleasure with endorphins, which are neurotransmitters or chemical messengers that help relieve stress and pain, and other pleasure chemicals like dopamine or norepinephrine and serotonin in your brain, but over time it improves your health. Other habits are routines that deliver immediate pleasure, like smoking a cigarette, which delivers pleasure from increased levels of dopamine in the brain triggered by nicotine. But obviously, cigarettes have harmful long-term effects. To realign our lives around healthy behavior, we need to stop. First, we need to get off the fast lane and pull into the pit stop to do some slow thinking, and go to the lookout tower and assess our behavior objectively. Imagine you are looking down on your behavior from a tower, emotionally detached. At the next pit stop, we can do some more slow thinking and begin to redesign how we make choices and swap out new routines and test different rewards that allow for new fast thinking with pleasurable short-term and healthy long-term effects. These two pit stops are like tune-ups for our brain. They allow us to stop some unwanted behavior, purging the gunk of bad stress and replacing it with clean, pure flowing well-being and joy. The key is to stop. We all deal with stressors on a daily basis. Anytime we encounter something that disturbs us, either mentally or physically, stress results. It's omnipresent in life. A particular stressful event triggers the fight or flight response, causing hormones such as adrenaline and cortisol to surge through your body. A little bit of stress, known as acute stress, can be exciting. It keeps us active and alert. The big problem comes in when you're dealing with long-term chronic stress, which I call bad stress. Being under constant stress, either on the job or at home or both, can have dire detrimental effects on your health. Ironically, studies have shown that healthcare workers and doctors are some of the most stressed out people among all professions. And yet we're putting our health in their hands. For instance, doctors, teens, and lawyers have the worst driving records. In addition, the health of our healthcare workers is worse than in just about any other industry in the United States, showing higher instances of obesity, smoking, chronic disease, and stress-related illnesses than the average employee in America. Almost anything can be a stressor, but I find this list of 11 common stress triggers listed by Whole Living body and soul in balance especially handy, since the ideas in STOP are designed to address them. Money issues, a job that never ends, a job you don't like, your relationships, constant caregiving, holiday pressure, taking on too much, not enough quality time, striving to be perfect, lack of passion, disorganized clutter. You will likely not be able to control many of the stressors in your world, but you can alter your reaction to them. This book teaches you how to quit the behaviors that leave you constantly overwhelmed and stressed. At a World Health Conference of leading healthcare professionals, the results of a long-term study were released that tracked whether people who had been told that they would die in 5 years or less if they didn't make drastic changes to their lifestyle actually did so. Shockingly, only 1 out of every 9 people elected to stop doing the behaviors that had led to such a poor prognosis. Even when faced with death, most people didn't stop stressing their bodies and minds. If you're stressed out, your life may actually depend on how willing you are to stop doing what's gotten you into your current state. Einstein said the definition of insanity was doing the same things over and over again and expecting a different result. More than 97% of American adults do not meet 4 basic characteristics of a healthy lifestyle. Researchers at Oregon State University found in a study published in the Mayo Clinic Proceedings at the time of this writing. Although 2/3 had at least 1 or 2 vital health habits, a good diet, moderate exercise, healthy BMI, and not smoking, researchers were stunned that so few people had all 4. We have to stop and look at ourselves. According to the Merriam-Webster Dictionary, joy, from the Middle English with roots from the Old French word joy, based on Latin gaudium, from gaudere, which means rejoice, is the emotion evoked by well-being, success, or good fortune, or by the prospect of possessing what one desires. Well-being is defined as the state of being happy, healthy, or successful. My good friend Gene Harker, MD, PhD, defines well-being as a state that exists when organisms function in an environment in harmony with how they were made. A plant is in harmony with its environment when it has the proper amount of sunlight, water, and carbon dioxide and other nutrients. Humans experience well-being when they are in harmony with their environment, when they know their needs and have the means to meet them while also helping to meet the needs of others. I know when I'm in harmony with my beautiful wife, Sherry, we are enjoying where we are and meeting each other's needs. I have a sense of elation from being in sync with the person I love. Did you know that as a couple, for instance, each of you gives off a sound, and when you are connected, the sounds you would emit are literally in harmony with each other? Likewise, if one of you is draining the other, the sounds you emit will clash. Higher personal performance means that we perform our chosen endeavors with a greater degree of skill, talent, knowledge, or acumen. For an Olympic sprinter or swimmer, this means faster times. For a school teacher, higher performance may mean the ability to help students master the subject matter at hand. The point is learning the methodology of higher personal performance. By exercising methods and purpose, you can boost your joy quotient significantly and reduce killer stress. Stopping behaviors that hold you back from your chosen, purposeful pursuits requires the practice of new methods based on new rules. Restructuring your life to not go there and nixing unwanted behaviors is an art form, a craft, a method. The method that I've adopted and I'm asking you to use enables you to intentionally stop the behaviors that crowd our minds, that take our time, that drain our energy and distract us from the pursuit of our purpose and passion. With these barriers removed and energy sappers zapped, we can focus on our strengths, talents, and experiences that bring joy and reduce stress for the people in our lives as well as for us. This method gives us the ability to stop the madness, the barrage of stimuli in our technologically frenzied society, combined with our own unhealthy habits that lead to misery, the antonym of joy. We need less, not more. Do you feel like you have more time and energy or less? Do you have as much time and energy as you would like to think, to reflect, to meditate, to plan, to read, to write, to paint, to enjoy your hobby or avocation, exercise, and engage with the most important people in your life? If the answer to any of these questions is no, it's time to stop. Jim Collins, author of the business classic Good to Great, talks about the 2010 assignment. Suppose you woke up tomorrow and received 2 phone calls. The first phone call tells you that you have inherited $20 million, no strings attached. The second tells you you have an incurable and terminal disease and you have no more than 10 years to live. What would you do differently? And in particular, what would you stop doing? Collins goes on to describe how that assignment became a turning point in his life. Asking himself those 2 questions caused a shift in how he allocates his most precious resource, time. I encourage you to think about this 2010 exercise as you listen to this book. Life is short. Time is precious. I have never heard of anyone making this deathbed proclamation. I wish I would have spent more time at the office completing my to-do list. Not all 21 stops will apply to you. There may be many behaviors that you need to stop in your life that are not covered in this reading. These behaviors are taken from my life experiences, and yours may be different. Whether you stop just a few of the 21 behaviors or most of them, my hope is that you will tap into new potential in your life. Each one of us is uniquely gifted. I desire to live more in my giftedness and less in the areas that do not require my uniqueness. If you want the same in your life, decide what you can stop doing long enough to listen to this book. May it bring joy to your life and to the lives of those you touch. We all touch so many other lives. My favorite movie of all time is Frank Capra's It's a Wonderful Life, starring the legendary Jimmy Stewart and Donna Reed. Remember that awkward angel, Clarence? He spoke great truth when he said, "Strange, isn't it? Each man's life touches so many lives. When he isn't around, he leaves an awful hole, doesn't he?" My wish for you is that you will stop any behavior that will prevent you from living a long, healthy, and wonderful life.